A very big welcome and warm welcome to everybody. The webinar will be starting in a couple of minutes, so thank you so much for your punctual attendance, and we do hope that it's going to be a fruitful session for you right here at the start of the year of the rabbit. We're just a couple of years past the Chinese New Year celebrations, but of course it ushers in a brand new year with lots of opportunity for different digital revolutions that we might have in our own respective spaces. And today we will be talking about 5G enabled sustainable and safe built environments in just a couple of minutes time. So before the webinar begins, just a couple of house rules just to keep today's session running as smoothly as possible. Now, please be informed that this webinar will actually be recorded. So your microphones will be automatically set on mute throughout the entire session. However, we do welcome your response. Please don't get us wrong on that. We welcome any questions throughout the entire session through the bottom at the Q&A function. Now, a lot of people are afraid of startling the speakers, so they raise their questions only at the very last minute, but it's actually okay to raise it anytime you have a question in the Q&A function, because that's where we actually amass the questions for the speakers towards the end of their presentation. So it will not disrupt the stream. So rest assured, please raise your questions anytime on the Q&A function. Now, there are a couple of attendees in the past who tend to raise their questions to the Zoom chat. Now, we do not encourage that, as it will actually kind of make it a little bit more convoluted in the Zoom chat function. So only raise any technical issues you have to our technical team through the Zoom chat function. Please leave any questions at all for the speakers on the Zoom Q&A. We deeply appreciate that. And of course, if you are interested in any such wonderful future events or webinars that's similar to this, hosted by IMDA with across all the different ranging topics, you can actually visit their website and or follow us on LinkedIn and mailing list, which you can actually join on the QR code on the screen later. Also, at the same time, if you see this QR code on my I'm not sure whether it's on your right or your left, but there's actually a QR code that you can scan. Yes, exactly. This is the space that you can follow us. And of course, this is where we have our community of problem owners as well as solvers, as well as a wide range of resources for any big or small companies, whatever you are, we do have a space for you, even incubation. And, IMDA Pixel is an amazing space with over 28,000 square foot of innovation space with amazing companies trying to do amazing things with you as well. So please be rest assured that we can lead you as well as, guide as well as collaborate with you on your digital revolution as well, whichever you're going through. Now, before the start, right, I'd just like to run through today's program very quickly. As you can see over here, there's more than us around. There's some real experts in the house, and they're going to be talking about different topics later on. So we do have data mesh, and they'll be actually speaking on featuring 5G-enabled mixed reality technology for site safety inspection, well, true to what we have as a topic for today, which is the enabled, sustainable, and safe built environments. And after which, we do have a presentation by MyPoint Eye as well, and that is actually featuring some of the 5G-enabled patrolling robots with live video streaming and remote teleops. That's quite a mouthful, right? But you can imagine these 5G-enabled patrolling robots. And if I'm not mistaken, you can see them all over Singapore in certain locations now. Later, I will leave the speaker, Han Tuo, to talk a little bit more about this. And they're talking about their project for a particular facility management company called CBM. I believe they'll delve into different use cases and examples as well. So last but not least, of course, finally, we will have a sharing by IMDA on the IMDA Pixel. This is a very interesting space, as I mentioned. They have this media production facilities. They have like green screens. They have lots of AR, VR technology, which you can tap on as well. Yeah, and 5G testing bed on the subject of 5G. But of course, we leave that to the experts to talk to you a little bit more later. So while waiting for a couple more participants to stream in, this is the agenda for today. So once again, we'd like to remind everybody to just raise any question that you have through the Zoom Q&A function below. Yeah, so do that. And of course, you will get a lot more in return because the speakers will then address your questions. Any burning questions, just feel free to do so. But at the end of the presentation is not the end, because this is actually just the start of your connection with either one of them. You can actually link up with them personally on LinkedIn as well. I'm sure you can search up Mr. Jackie Chan from Data Mesh, and from My Point I, we have Mr. Zhang Hando, and continue the connection, because this is where we actually spark the connection for you to build further bridges as well as collaboration with this wonderful gentleman here who's going to share with us more about 5G-enabled, sustainable, and safe built environments. And of course, once again, we remind you to join us for all of our future wonderful activities, both at IMDA Pixel as well as virtually. Just to tempt you a little bit, they always have very good food over there at IMDA Pixel at the physical events. Trust me for that. And they got good coffee and good drinks as well. So it's a space where the community connects. And if you look at projects like the OIP, Open Innovation Platform, they have had like millions of dollars of cash prizes given out to solve problems. And these problems are often solved by a small team or even a single developer sometimes, right? So these might be really, really burning issues where you can tap on as well. So there's lots of opportunities and partnership that's available at IMDA. Once again, we welcome you to a fruitful session over here. This is just the start of many more to come. Now, we see that there are quite a number of participants right now. So once again, just to remind you to use the Q&A function for any questions. Only use the Zoom chat if you like to raise anything other than questions, right? So for example, Mr. Jackie Chan and Mr. Zhang, we welcome you to leave maybe your LinkedIn web link on the Zoom chat as well. So maybe they can actually, tap on that to connect with you later if you're comfortable with that. Yeah. So any of your contact details could go there because it's technically not a question as well. Right. So we shall be starting in just a couple of minutes with the green light given from the organizers once we have our participants here. Meanwhile, please continue to enjoy. And of course, to think about some of the possible questions that you have for our speakers later. They will once again be speaking about featuring 5G-enabled mixed reality technology for site safety inspection. That's by Data Mesh. And from My Point I, we have the featuring 5G-enabled patrolling robots with live video streaming and remote teleops for their facility management company, CBM. That's by My Point I. And last but not least, from IMDA Pixel. Right, we shall be starting in just 1 minute's time. So just take out your phone, scan the mailing list, join us. It's going to be definitely very, very fruitful for each and every one of you. And of course, we welcome you to invite more people to our events as well. That's how we build a community of over, I think, if I'm not mistaken, over 11,000 tech solvers at this moment as I'm speaking. I'm sure it's growing at the moment as well. Thank you, Mr. Zhang and Mr. Chan. Thanks. Wonderful, wonderful. So at the end of each of their presentation session, there's actually some time, about 5 minutes allocated for Q&A. So this is the rule, right? So it's a very, very simple rule. First come, first serve. So if your question comes up first, which means you raise the question first, your question will get answered first in that order, in that sequence. So if you have any burning questions, as I mentioned, please raise them earlier. That'll be great. So I think the time is about right. Not looking at feng shui, but looking at 2:05. I think that's our stipulated starting time. So once again, my name is Ting Hong, and welcome to join us for this IMDA webinar titled 5G-enabled sustainable and safe built environments. Right, I will be our MC and facilitator for today. First of all, wishing everybody 恭喜发财 in the year of the rabbit. We hope that, right, your fortune and good luck is as long as the rabbit's ear. Your troubles are as short as the rabbit's tail. And the wealth that comes to you as much as the rabbit's fur. And most importantly, for all your businesses, we hope that it grows like the rabbit, leaps and bounds all the way to the next year. Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. So please be informed that at the start of this wonderful webinar, right, it will be recorded so that you can actually replay some of the points that you might have missed out, or you want to play to recap some of the pointers that will actually be available on YouTube, and that your microphones will automatically be set on mute, so you do not have to worry. Throughout the session, you can raise questions through the Q&A platform at the bottom. Once again, Q&A platform, this is the place to raise questions anytime. Not just at the end of the speaker, anytime, as early as possible, actually. Now, should you encounter any technical issues, please reach out to our team through the Zoom chat function. That is actually where you seek technical help. So in this webinar, we will be learning about how 5G-enabled augmented and virtual reality technologies are actually helping to create safer work and living environments for us all. Now, we will hear from industry experts, Mr. Zhang and Mr. Chan, who will tell us a little bit more about its impact and how it's actually done. Of course, they only have about 20 minutes each, so they'll go through the main points, which is for you to raise up any burning questions through the Q&A platform. Now, first up, for our first presentation, we have Mr. Jackie Chan. I believe he's the digital twin version the other Jackie Chan you might know. He will actually be sharing on the 5G-enabled solutions for the architecture, engineering, and construction sector. He's the managing partner of Data Mesh. Now, he oversees the company's business development and operations in Southeast Asia with over 10 years of sales experience across different sectors such as manufacturing, gaming, advertising, education, and even immersive experience. So he helps enterprises across Asia Pacific to benefit from the digital transformation by digital twin and mixed reality softwares and technologies. So I came across the website. I was looking at, wow, so interesting how you can get real-time data from a digital twin, right? And if there's any actually emergency, how can you reflect on that digital twin to find out where the problem might be, to get to it, to troubleshoot it in the first time possible in any immediate or urgent situations. So for that, and on the topic of featuring 5G-enabled mixed reality technology for site safety inspection, let's welcome the managing partner of Data Mesh, Mr. Jackie Chan, please. Mr. Chan.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mr. Chan.
I'm Jackie.
Hearing you loud and well.
I'm Jackie here. Yeah, I'm Jackie here from Data Mesh. I'm actually the managing partner for Data Mesh Singapore. Let me quickly drag up my screen if you guys can see my screen here. All right, so Data Mesh is actually a technology company who is using the digital twin and extended reality technology to help out with the first line worker. So this company is actually founded since 2014. A little bit of background is like, we often heard about the metaverse recently because of Meta, this company, Facebook previously, they announced these kind of like words. So how do we create the metaverse by, for the industrial, for enterprise users? So it's actually very long time ago, not to say very long time ago, but it's since like 2014, 13 timing, digital twin, this word is actually being created and it's been some sort of like solutions for a lot of different industry for kind of like simulations, for them to do kind of a training, or even for them to help out the first line worker to equip them with the different informations or data they collected, and also they wanted to do this kind of predictions about the production's efficiencies or technologies, or even to reflect like what is the problem that is created in the past, right? So these are the technology that we are actually focused in since 2014, and until today we do have 4 representative office across APAC. We have 10 people teams here in Singapore, which is our headquarters for operations, and we do have a bigger teams in China, which is in charge of the R&D and product support developments. It will be 100 people over there. And then we have our representative office in Japan as well, in Tokyo, which we will see a lot of different so-called use cases in the building environment. From there, I will share like 2 use cases there later in Japan, that they are using the mixed reality technology to help out their first line worker in the building environment. So, and also we do have an office in US as well to tag along with the so-called the Western markets. This is an so-called like part of the certificates that we have, just to mention here, because we are the gold partner for Microsoft, and we are actually the finalists for the Mixed Reality Awards in the year of 2020. We are only one from APAC that is being finalized in this finalist in that year. Right. So a little bit of like what are we doing, and how do we use this kind of technology to help out the enterprises or the users, the end users, to build a more safe environment and to build like a more comfortable or more efficient build environment. So we do have a product. It's called Data Mesh Director, which is the content creation software for this kind of mixed reality content, or it can be used for extended reality as well. Extended reality is actually inclusive of mixed reality, augmented reality, and also virtual reality. So it's a zero coding content creation software. It will allow you to utilize your resources, the 3D resources, which you will store on the platform. It's on Azure Cloud, so you'll be able to use it manually. so-called to have the mobility to use it anywhere, to create your own content and to use this content to overlay onto the actual site to give a briefing or give a training, and also to give like so-called verifications on the mission statements or anything that is related to the content, right? So basically, this is what we do. And our company here, we are focusing on training, experiences, monitor and control, and also simulations. This is the four big fundamental of our principle to utilize this technology for digital twin and also mixed reality, right? So a little bit of the flow on our solutions. So it's kind of like you just need to upload your 3D resources. Like for example, they're just a conversions of a theme into 3D models, and then you can map with your data, and then you can utilize the zero coding content creation software to create your own content, and then you can run the simulations on the platform itself, or lastly, you can build it through various devices like iOS, Android, mobile devices, or head-mounted devices like HoloLens, right? So a little bit of the platform itself, the software itself. This is kind of like a screenshot of it. So you can see this is zero coding. So what you see in the software itself when you're creating a content, it's just like creating a PPT. You will be able to see a 3D models of your resources, and then from there you can just like click and drop to create your own content, right? Some of the applicable scenarios. So not only limited to the industrial that is for building and constructions. It also can be used in manufacturing. It also can be used in other industry as well, because it's kind of like agnostic. We are not dedicated for any one of the only one vertical. Right? So yeah, just now, as I mentioned, we have some use cases in Japan. It's dedicated for this field environment. So this is one of the use cases by Obayashi. They're using our solutions here to help them to solve the communication issue, and also to help them to be more consistent in terms of to give the safety briefing, and also to have the stand-up meetings every morning so that everyone is on the same page on the progress. Right. Next, look at the videos.
「鉄道営業線に近接する鉄道工事は一晩の作業時間が終電から始発までの数時間に限定され、作業の頻度には大きな損失になります。そのため発注者、元請け、協力会社の間で事前に施工計画や施工手順の現地確認などに対して時間をかけて綿密な協議を重ねています。今回、施工計画や施工手順の現地確認において TIS のコンサルティング支援のもと、データメッシュからデータメッシュディレクターの提供を受け、鉄道工事の現場で MR 技術を活用しました。重要なポイントは MR 技術による動的な 3D 手順、これを施工する現地で可視化できるということです。この効果を確認することができました。
本工事では下り線ホームの新設するにあたり、駅美学通路という狭い空間の中に足を使う状態で工事を行います。施工手順を MR 投影することにより、施工計画の作成、発注者などへの説明、作業員の施工手順の理解に非常に有効だと感じました。
Hi, Jackie. Just a quick one. Sorry. One of the participants has asked whether it's possible to switch to the presentation view, as I think currently it's on the presenter view, so it's a little bit smaller. I think it should be the option with the 3 dots just right below the picture frame, if I'm not mistaken. Just to switch to the so I believe some of the hi presenter. Try that again. I'm thinking some of the participants you might be using a mobile screen, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. This view looks awesome. Thank you.
私たちフロントローディング推進部は BIM などの 3D ツールを使って課題解決を行い、現場を支援する部署となります。 今回 MR 投影の目的としてはステークホルダーに対する見える化とビムモデルを鉄骨立て形に MR 投影することによる出来高の検証を考えていました。サガアリーナは延べ面積約3万4000平米。
Hi, my name is Amanda. I'm going to show you two quick ways to integrate Zoom.
Sorry, just now I hear someone speaking.
Right. Once again, guys, feel free to raise any questions to Mr. Chan along the way. Yeah, on the Q&A function. Thank you so much for your participation.
I won't go so in depth into this use case as well. As you can see just now, there's some overlay. There are some models that you can see on the side itself. But this is actually the use cases for Japan for constructions, and also this is used the 5G on the local side, because this area is a new focus area that is covered by 5G, and because of this 5G enabled, so they are able to use this mixed reality to be on the site and to overlay such a big scale of models onto the site here, so they'll be able to see the progress and also to see the ultimate effect of the new building, out in that moment, right? So I'll go to the next one actually. So next one is actually our project here in Singapore. It's together with Gammon Conceptions. They are our local partner. In fact, our first partner that we're trying to come up with this introduction of this technology into Singapore. So through the mixed reality technology, it allows users to visualize and guide the installation work for this project, and also to work to verify all those installations and also the method statements on the site. So why do we need 5G rather than to use a 4G network? Actually, this kind of technology, it works on any of the network, but why 5G make it possible for the industrial user to use? So first of all, you wouldn't want to wait for like maybe 10 to 20 minutes on site to wait for your content to be loaded. So 5G make this possible. And also because of the low latency and also low feedback, it is possible for you to collaborate with your local so-called like remote offices, so that they can streamline the content with you concurrently. Then you can go through all the progresses, all the content like simultaneously with the back office. So it won't giving you like a gap of communications. So the engineer, they might not be able to go down to the site, and the first site worker, they just use a mobile devices with 5G connectivity. They can actually do the discussions in a different location. Right. So these are some of the videos that we took on the site. Basically, the first line for the supervisor, they're giving this, and all of the team member will be able to have the same things, and looking at just the content, they'll be able to understand like what is the progress and things that they need to take care of. So they don't need to speak in different languages. They don't need to have a very like experienced worker to understand about all the processes. So everybody can understand like with this kind of content. Right. So by right, I have a partner from Gammon to give a speech on this one, but he got some personal issue here, so he won't be able to join. So I'll be sharing his part as well. So from the end user's perspective, like what are the things that they face on site now is like for safety issue, for current practice is like based on the drawing and 3D so-called computer models for them to communicate on the site. So in a way, like they need to print out a lot of different printing, drawing to communicate, and just like what I mentioned, they have different kind of races that speak in different languages. So they need to read them using a very long time to be on the same pages. But with these MR simulations, they actually give them a very strict rule, so they can understand like each of the steps very quickly, and also it's very so-called like we do not need to speak anything. So by the storyline, they can understand like what they need to do. And also because this is a simulated, or this is an open loop, right? So in a way they can understand about the spatial, and also they can understand about the one-to-one scale of everything. So it try to help them to be like more so for the safety breathing, they can actually like aware of the risk and where to avoid for the dangerous area as well. Right. So like what I mentioned, 4G is possible to use these kind of solutions, but there are some limitations. So first of all, this kind of content is tend to be a more it's a bigger size of file. So when the mobile devices they wanted to load this kind of file, it tend to be longer if they're using only 4G or just old school of Wi-Fi. Of course, for construction sites, you don't even have Wi-Fi connectivity. So 5G is kind of like an enablement for them, and also for yeah. So basically, why we need 5G is because the size is big. You need a longer time of time to download and to load, and for them to collaborate with the local offices, the remote offices, and of course the site locations. Most of it they do not have a Wi-Fi connectivity. Right. So the project scope for this Sentosa project is basically the BIM model import into the platform. So we convert the BIM model into 3D models and upload it into the platform. So to use the content creation software to create the content like what you see just now, the crane, the barricade, everything will be just using this content creation software. And of course, there will be some animation as well. You can just use the drag and drop methods to create the animations. And then lastly, to collaborate and distribute onto the mobile devices or the hand-mounted devices. All right, there's another 2 videos here is on the same project, but this is on the later part. And if some of you aware, these videos will come out in the channel 8 as well, one of the program. Of course, it's just a few seconds in the month of November, if I'm mistaken. So these are the things that we do together with German. So they use our tools here to create this content and overlay it on site, and to give the breathing and safety instructions to the first-line worker. All right, I think I just on time for 20 minutes. That's all for my presentations. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chan. Thanks for the very short and sweet presentation for us to understand a little bit more about the necessity of 5G being a technology in this entire value chain, right? So, yeah, just to spark the questions going, can I just check in with you, because we're talking about like for building a digital twin for the building as well. So, what are the challenges of building a digital twin for a building that might have already been around for a while? So in essence, not a very smart building, but a building probably for like 10s or 20s of years and all that. Would that be a challenge? Because I foresee that for some of our participants here, they might be in such a situation where the building is not actually newly constructed.
Yeah, this is a very good question actually, because for us here, for most of our partners, if we are talking about they are building up the new building, and they tend to have this kind of resources because for like the recent year, BIM, the building information modeling is kind of like a must, so-called a must for each of the new developments. But for older building, what do we do and how do we create this kind of digital twin? So we saw a lot of requests coming up from here. Is like we will question it back to the end users, like what are your usage for this? If let's say you just wanted to have digital representations of your building, of course we can use a lot of different methods. Like it can be a photo stitching, it can be model creations, it can be even just like fake 3D models. So we take a lot of photos and then combine it into digital resources for you to represent. But this is not, if let's say you are talking about building management for the whole building's life cycle to manage using a digital twin, then you might need to invest into to create your BIM, because this will enable you to make changes or to make any adjustment in the future inside the digital twin before you do any renovations.
Sure. Understand. So there's an element of future proofing it lah. If you actually build a more comprehensive digital twin, but of course that I guess what Mr. Chan is saying here is also based on your focus and objective. There are actually also possibility of partial implementation in the usage to achieve the business results as well. So I think we have a couple more questions from our attendees here, and one of them includes what is a typical turnaround time from a 3D model to actually being a useful digital twin?
Right, just like what I mentioned just now, it really depends on your usage. Most of the time, if let's say we're talking about the building, just a digital representation, just a 3D model, it wouldn't take you a lot of time because you just wanted to see the outlet, right? And then you just attach all of your data onto a different area or to the dedicated area. There shouldn't be a lot of issue. In a few months' time, you can have your own digital twin, have your own version of digital twin in just maybe 6 to 9 months' time from the scratch. But if let's say you are talking about the full real digital twin to represent everything like hidden, wired, or the piping, that one we need to create a BIM first.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So for a 3D model, it probably just take a couple of months lah, but digital twin, it will take probably into the ranges of a year lah, I suppose, right? To have all the piping and all that, depending on how comprehensive you're looking at as well, I suppose, right? So there's no one size fits all, I suppose, right? So over here also, we do have another question for another attendee on another matter, which is he or she is asking, is your UI and UX completely no code? How do you then publish and share?
You're right. So our UI and UX here is totally no code. We are actually on SaaS services. So basically it's on the cloud. We have like a standard support applications that we can download, and with the licensings, you can just log into your dedicated account, and then you can use our tools, and then you can create your own content, you can record your own videos, and to share it within your organization.
Right. Understood on that. So maybe for more specific technical questions, you can direct them to Jackie offline as well. I suppose there could be endless number of questions as well. So we do see one question on the chat. So for future purpose, please put it on the Q&A so it'll be a little bit clearer. But for this time, we'll take it as well. So I think it's coming from Andrew. So he's talking about like what are some of the indicative cost, I suppose, like on the different steps of implementation, what are some of the indicative costs would you be able to share?
Okay, like what I shared just now, because this solution is just one of the product domain that we are using it for visualizations. Right. So for Data Mesh Director, we're actually running on the Azure Cloud as a SaaS services. So this is actually on a licensing basis. Yearly subscription is about 12,680, 12,680 for one organization to use it to start. Right.
So that would be then the base cost of the SaaS. But of course, on top of that, if you are requiring any more bespoke services on that sense, if you do need anything more customized, then it will pick up from there, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chan, and no worries, Andrew. Yeah, no worries about that. Yeah, just for any future questions, we can put it on Q&A for everybody as well. So I do sense that there could be a lot more other questions for Mr. Chan over here, but of course, we are also aware of the time and respectful of everybody's time as well. So we are very thankful for managing partner of Data Mesh, Mr. Jackie Chan, to be here together with us. And I believe you will be getting his LinkedIn contact. We will retype it in the general chat later, so you can connect with him and understand a little bit more. I think it's most important to understand how it's useful to your case. So in that case, I think personal contact is what we definitely highly recommend. Thank you, Mr. Chan. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, we were talking about like digital twin and mixed reality technologies. And next up will be something that is a little bit different. It's quite interesting actually, because you might have seen this roaming around at your office buildings or in other areas of Singapore as well. This is a very, very interesting company. It's called MyPoint. So what they actually do is that they are actually an innovative AI company that focuses on AI services design and development of edge AI service and cloud AI service technology. And coupled with robotics, it makes for a very, very interesting and very empowered usage of these services as well. So we will be welcome our AI scientists at MyPoint, Mr. Zhang Handuo. So he actually received the Bachelor's of Engineering and Master's of Science degree from Northeastern University in China. And I think if you look at his LinkedIn, he has a lot more accreditations in his doctorates as well, where he has published numerous amount of academic papers on robotic perception and localization, where he actually led a team on an integrated environment sensing system project for unmanned vehicles based on a stereo vision system. Now, we can all understand a little bit more from Mr. Zhang in just a moment's time. So we will be talking a little bit more about 5G-enabled patrolling robots with live video streaming and remote teleops for facility management company, which is why we mentioned that you might have actually seen it before. So without further ado, we're going to stand here to hand over the time to Han Duo to start his sharing on towards smarter development cycle for AI models under 5G. Once again, we welcome you to raise your questions anytime in the Q&A segment. Thank you very, very much. And of course, over to you, Mr. Han Duo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ching Hong, about that introduction. Very pleased, very pleasant to join this webinar. So I'll take the introduction a bit more briefer, because I think the deployment of AI is quite a broad topic. So I'll make it a bit faster here. Firstly, about who we are, just now Ching Hong already introduced. MyPoint is a kind of a spin-off company founded by an previous NTU professor, Guangbin Huang. And we right now, we'll be mostly focusing on the development of edge AI and cloud AI. So what is our core competency? Basically three channels. The first is the AI service platform. Here you can see that we focus on the AI microservice, AI in the cloud, and also the mobile AI. We are trying to provide our customers with ML models, some machine learning, and also AI plus 5G and IoT to meet the needs of their different scenarios. And the third channel is about edge AI. We also have our own hardware, including robots and edge devices. So let's come to the first section, is the motivation of digitalization and using 5G techniques. I think just now, Jackie, from Data has already introduced a lot on 5G, the advantages of 5G over 4G. And also, I also summarized a bit more on how do we do the data transformation, and also what are the challenges. The first pain point is that mostly for some companies, right, they have some digitalization, but there always some kind of information island problem, meaning that they develop a module, and they develop another one. There is no data sharing between these modules. There's a lack of proper architecture design, and also the interface compatibility between different devices, including different cameras, different sensors, different devices. So that is the first challenge. The second challenge is about, of course, that is also what the 5G is capable of, is the high capacity and speed and low latency demands. You can see I summarized a rough estimation. If any of you have such kind of needs, you can also check whether this is true. For example, if you need the 4K video, the latency requirement normally should be less than 30 milliseconds, and also the bandwidth requirement is at least 35 Mbps. So not to mention using AR or VR. So that means that the very traditional 4G or Wi-Fi sometimes cannot meet our requirements on those kind of capacities. And the third challenge is similar that we have a very high concurrent access needs of different wireless devices, especially when, for example, in some projects you are building a smart park, right? You have thousands of visitors each day. So you have everyone has at least one phone, and also they have some other tablets or some other devices that is wireless. So sometimes Wi-Fi, I think, they suffer from the dropped connections problem and congestion problem. I think 5G can support this kind of situations. And also not to mention about the security. Sometimes Wi-Fi has a risk of data intercepted in the middle, and 5G in some projects, I trust the 5G more because they have a better protocols for cybersecurities. Okay, and now that has come to the a new project we are currently ongoing. It's called a 5G-enabled patrolling robots that is supporting video surveillance and also video streaming. So what is the objectives? So our customers have such kind of needs that they want to reduce the intensity of manpower. They want to improve productivity. They also want to improve the security efficiency so that we will try to provide some powerful visual AI to empower a higher level of security, especially for nighttime. And also at the end, we can save extensive infrastructure costs because we don't need to install all, in every meters, we need to install some CCTVs. If we are equipped with such kind of robots, right, we can reduce the number of other devices so that in total, we will save a lot of money. So what is the overall architecture? Here, I summarize a very typical AI algo development iterative cycle. Why is a cycle? It's because algorithm in this cycle is only a small part, is only a small section. You can see that we have a new requirement, we have a new business. Firstly, we try to collect the data, no matter from public or from the customer side. After we have the data, we also need to analyze our business. We learn from our previous knowledge, we learn from our previous projects, but we still need to analyze what's the new need. And then we do the data analysis. Then we develop our algorithms. With the algorithms, we can deploy the algorithms to make it online, so that this is not the end. We will and Mama I is able to build some very intelligent ML pipeline that is triggering the new data, the false positive, false negative state situations, and then we try to send it back to the first step to iteratively update the data in terms that to iteratively update our algorithms. So in this kind of method, we try to, in other words, evolve our algorithm so that the algo is kind of growing together with the customers. Of course, I know this is very challenging. So that if you have the idea of this kind of AI development, you know that AI algorithm itself is not the most important part. You have to know the business model very well, and also you have to have the ability of collecting data, of analyzing data. That is also very critical. So now let's come to the situations from our customers. They have the facilities, no matter it's both indoor and outdoor. It's a quite a giant place, so that we design two kinds of robots. From the left side, you can see the one that is quite cute is a indoor sentry robot, and from the right one is a slightly bigger, is a kind of outdoor robot. The outdoor robot can climb up to 30 degree of the slope, and also it will the battery lasts also longer. It can last about 5 to 6 hours of patrolling, so that it can. It's also later from some videos you can also see that capacity of moving. It can avoid obstacles. It can automatically do the path planning, so that it can very smart do the autonomous patrolling every day to help to assist safety guards for better security of the facilities, of the buildings, around the buildings. And over here, we just use the 5G technique to help us improve our performance to make it more user-friendly. Okay. Okay, now comes to the use cases. Like I just mentioned, we have a central, this is a central server. It has some abilities like unmanned or monitoring. It has a lot of customized AI services, including event detection, any abnormal event, any abnormal attendance, any kind of intrusions, including behaviors we can detect. And real-timely, we push to the edge, including the monitors, including the apps, mobile apps or anything. And also we have the real-time interaction and control. So that makes also a kind of cycle that you can not only monitor it, you can also try to control it. Once it detects anything special, it can also zoom in, zoom out. It can even keep a track of anything that is very suspicious. So that we make it a more intelligent monitoring control center. So here's the web client. So we kind of provide an interface for different cameras and robots. And also for the, we've also built a kind of user interface with a dashboard. You can see below that we can zoom to different maps. Now I come to this map. So this map is the first floor of South Beach. So you can see that it has a live video streaming. You can zoom in, zoom out to see what is happening right now. And also it is also can be set as a auto mode so that it can automatically do this kind of monitoring. And also at the same time, later I can show that it has the algorithm dashboard. So anything that is detected as abnormal, including smoking behaviors, including falling down, fighting, and also unattended objects detected, we will provide a dashboard to show and also to notify the safety guards about what is going on right now. So that is very interesting. You can see we have also some 3D map of the robots, including the environment. For example, now we see something that, although this is we just had intendedly put back here, so it will show something here. So that is the whole user interface. And for the next one, I will show that we have this kind of two robots, what they can do to avoid a collision. They can do the auto charging without manual intervention. We also optimize our navigation strategy so that it can do it automatically. So here is a short video of our robot working. Just accelerate a bit. But once from several meters away, it detects some person coming, so we just stop by and wait for them to pass and then move on. Very smooth. Yeah. This is very good at dealing with all kind of windows. Although all the glasses and windows are sometimes very dangerous. So we have some techniques to deal with glasses and windows. Okay, I'll move on to the next one. And also our indoor robots. This is our indoor robot working. Okay, just a fast glimpse of other 5G plus AI use cases, including IoT, industrial app, flexible production, AR and MR, green manufacturing and strategy analysis. And also we have a lot of other use cases from where we also want to highlight a bit more on the safety production and IoT for infrastructures. For example, here is also another project ongoing in China. So forgive us, video is not very maturely made. There's some Chinese in it, but mainly it is the application of some very safe safety productions, so that we have different sensors. All the sensors, they get, okay, sorry. It can do a real-time warning, and also the explosion-proof, safe, and rich algorithms, including the the monitoring of persons wearing some PPE or not, and also whether they are following the correct procedure or not. Are they doing the correct things? So we can follow the very strict steps to warn our customers whether the workers, the staff are doing the things right. So we will give the scores, and for anything that is suspicious, we will push alerts to them. So here is a good example also for digitalization of factories, including medical factories and some other factories. Yeah, you can see that we have some warnings because this man, he's left something behind. So we will give this kind of warnings, etc. And here are the video streaming user interfaces and the dashboards for different statistics, etc. Okay, so I think I will pause here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hanto. It was really, really impressive. Very, very interesting to witness all these robots around. Though we might not always have an idea of what they have been doing, now we do. So instead of Big Brother is watching, I would say Hanto is watching you as well.
Okay.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I trust that you have some questions coming up as well. But let me just start the ball rolling, because I think it's a very, very impressive technology. And together with robotics, just wanted to pose this question to Hanto, because other than I do notice a lot of use cases with security, but I do think that it has very, very wide-ranging capabilities. Like for a shopping mall, potentially you can measure footfall. For a factory, potentially there could be certain form of like fire extinguishing tool that can come along with it. So whenever there's a certain form of heat, is able to extinguish on your own. So other than security, what are the other functions that you have? My point I has used it for any of your clients?
Okay. That is a very interesting question, because MyPoint, we have our own model zoo. Whether it's a model zoo is the algorithm factory, so that already some kind of predefined things. Safety, I think, is the most critical and most important business to us. But other than safety, we also have some other use cases and some other algorithms that you can refer to. The first thing is about you just think about AI. Anything that can replace human, we try to help. Firstly, for some, delivery, we're delivering the mails, right?
Right.
You need to manually read the addresses, the delivermans, all kind of information. So we provide this automatic OCR technology that to help you automatically in a very short time to extract all the key information that is useful to the customer, to the businessman, what is going on. So you don't need to manually, you need to hire some people to read it for you. Yeah, that's the first thing. And also you can think about, some factories or some companies, right? They have some materials. The materials, they need to, every month, they need some guys to come and do a check. How many of it? You need to count, you need to grade. What's the level? Do I need to maintain it? Do I need to refresh? Do I need to purchase some new materials or not? We can help you do that, so that you also don't human to manually check that. And also that it also includes a fast one, online one, offline one. Online means that there is a production line who can help you do the computer vision. Of course, there's already quite a mature business. For some other ones is that you have a mountain of materials, so that for men to count for several hours, I think we just take several video clips of videos. We can help you very accurately get the results. Yeah, that's two examples to show the guys that apart from safety, right, we have some other things. Try to replace human, especially some trivial manpower. Not everything that we try to replace human.
Definitely. In the areas where manpower could prove to be a constraint, I think AI with robotics, from my point, I will prove a very, very competent helper over here. And this is actually a very, very interesting question coming from one of our attendees, and very, very localized. I suppose in other countries it would apply as well, probably in different terms. But this attendee is actually asking, how do you actually do the PDPA compliance or compliance with the video imaging? So it's very interesting. Have you ever faced this challenge before, Hanto?
Yeah, correct. Actually, we faced this one. Even before this project, right? We also have a conversation with MDA about it, because I think when everyone is using AI, especially this kind of video related things, you always have such kind of data privacy problem.
Absolutely.
So the public are also concerned that their faces, their personal information will be released. So that actually we also address this in our proposals. There should be several methods. The first method is that when we are trying to learn from the data, we need to access the data. So the access data need to be pre-operated. So because right now is a pilot run, so we haven't reached that yet. But anyway, when it really becomes a product, right, the data comes to us is already encrypted. And before the encryption, there is an operation called the mask, so that the car license plates, the faces will be masked, will be blurred, so that you cannot see the details of this person. Because right now in this project, we don't do the face recognition. The customer doesn't require us to do the face recognition. It's a public place, so we don't need the information of faces. We just care more about safety of anything apart from the human behavior itself. It is more on human behavior, your body language, it's not your face. So that we try to avoid getting your private information. That is the first thing. Of course, we need some other regulations on cybersecurity, including the permissions of access of some databases. You cannot say that everyone can get the data. Only some licensed men, some certificate guys, the authorized guys to get this.
Noted. Yeah, so it's encrypted, and maybe the permissions will be set to only be accessible to a certain group of people of a certain function. Maybe if someone broke a law or something like that.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, on
absolutely.
Yep. So over here we also have a couple more questions. Yes, from Josephine, the recording will be made available later. I do think we have time for just one more question, a quick one. So Josephine was asking what kind of hardware is needed to use the MyPoint Eye software, particularly I think from the monitoring front, because the robots run themselves, right?
Okay. That is also, I think I can hardly answer this one in a short time, but I try to answer it quick and clear. It depends on your scenarios, because we have two kinds of hardware can provide to you, and also you can buy your own hardware to use our software. We provide two kinds of AI. One is a cloud AI, the other is edge AI. So it depends on what kind of latency you need, and what kind of what's the scale of your application. If the application is really, really big, that we need to buy a kind of a big hardware, then we will discuss with you. You just tell me your requirements. We can estimate the hardware is needed. Otherwise, we recommend that kind of something called edge AI. We have an AI box, so that locally, for anything, for example, you have some CCTV yourself, or we can provide a robot, right? They are the natural edge AI, so that you don't need to buy a very expensive AI server. It just naturally can give out the results. So as long as you just have this kind of software platform from us, we will link all your devices together. So that will be the case.
Noted.
Yes. What is the chip? Sorry, do I need to answer the last one, or what is the cheapest that could be used at home?
Do you have a?
Sorry, because I'm more on technical guy, right? We haven't have such kind of 2C cases. But you can, if you're interested, you can contact me. I think I will ask our business team to help you on this.
Right. You probably have quite a big home to patrol as well with all those robots.
yeah, sure. Right now, our ones are quite big. Yeah, our robots are quite big.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Hando. It was really insightful and very, very interesting, by the way. I never knew that, 5G technology is more secure as well. I learned on the go. Thank you so much for teaching us so much. Thanks, Hando.
No mind. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you. And up next, of course, I do think that implementation is as much as important as the learning. So, which is why IMDA Pixel and IMDA for many years, they've been trying to support companies to go on this digital revolution to help you to automate as well as to make things more efficient from the digital front. So, of course, today we also have Janice from IMDA Pixel as well as Valerie from IMDA to share more about how IMDA innovation and how IMDA can be part of your corporate digitalization journey. So, may I please welcome Janice and Valerie, please?
Thanks, Sing Hong. Okay, so now that the slides are on screen, I think I'll just take the last 5 minutes to quickly share with everyone who IMDA Pixel is. Not everyone might be familiar with us. So we are a two-story corporate innovation space in North, and we bring together corporates as well as technology startups together. So we focus mainly in the areas of AR, VR, AI, and data analytics, as well as IoT and robotics, and last but not least, also 5G, which is a lot of the solutions that you've been hearing about today. And what our space actually sets out to do is to support innovation projects. So if you are a tech startup working on an innovation project, do come and speak with us. If you need a space to work on your projects, we do have AR, VR, and a 5G lab, as well as a UI UX lab in our facility. We also have, if you're thinking about how to make your digital product or your solution better, for example, improving the user interface. This is where our consultants can help in UI, UX, and even branding and your marketing, digital marketing capabilities. And the last part is, of course, bringing together everyone. So like what we do today in our webinars, we also do other events such as monthly networking sessions, as well as pitching days. So earlier I talked about some of the consultancy support that we have for corporates as well as startups. So we do monthly workshops. These are our 101 type of modules where we learn a little bit more about topics such as AR, VR, or SEO. But if you are intending to work on your own digital solution or your product and you really need help in terms of solution design or UI UX improvements, do come and speak with us, because these resources are actually free for our local startups. And these are just some of the startups and the partners that we work with. So if you're interested to partner with Pixel in any way, do reach out to us. And last but not least, just to maybe share a little bit more about the programs that we have. So besides the webinars that you see monthly, we also welcome everyone. Actually, our events are actually open to everyone to join. So we do have pitching events, technical workshops. So stay in touch with us on our LinkedIn page, to get updated on these events. And the last part is, other than the physical facility that we run, we do also operate something called the Open Innovation Platform. So if you have an innovative problem, put it on there. And you can actually crowdsource your solution. So if you're a tech solver like MyPointEye or Data Mesh with a very interesting solution to propose, you can also come aboard the platform and address some of these corporate challenges that are put on board on this platform. So this platform is actually agnostic, so we open up to all industries. So like you can see on screen, we have worked with financial services partners, we've worked with manufacturing companies, we've worked with even local lifestyle companies or retail companies like Mandai and Sentosa. Yeah, so this is how the Open Innovation Platform works. So you put your challenge statement on the OIP platform, and then that is where IMDA will step in to help you scope your problem, help you to scout for solvers, and also help you with paid marketing outreach to help you source for solutions. And then the last part is, of course, getting the tech solver to work with you on a POC or a solution. And thereafter, we would also support with publicity. So if you'd like to talk about some of the innovative solutions that your company has adopted, IMDA will actually support that as well. Yeah. So just to summarize the resources that are available at Pixel to support your AR/VR projects. One is we can help you scope out the use case that you're thinking about. The next part is actually we can connect you with AR/VR companies who are able to support your project. And the last part is if you need access to our labs or even a dedicated consultants to help with your projects, do come and speak with us. And hand the time over to Valerie, who will share a little bit more about their 5G grant as well.
Yep. Hi, thanks, Janice. So perhaps to share a bit more, so specific to 5G innovation itself, so other than facilities and the space that Janice shared on, we do also have a support program to help accelerate adoption and commercialization of a 5G solution. So I'll share just briefly on this. So the 5G innovation program was actually set up since January 2021, and it's aimed at accelerating adoption and commercialization of 5G solution. So we're particularly focused on proposal in three tech domain areas of robotics and IoT, AI and data, AR, VR. And of course, in this case, the applicant can be a tech provider or end user company. The applicant must be Singapore registered company. So in this case, there is no local minimum shareholding. And in terms of the funding scope for this program, we actually will fund up to 70% of the qualifying costs, and applicant will have to pay the remaining 30%. And the areas that we will support includes manpower, hardware, software, materials, and ICT services, professional services. And also in the event that the applicant want to apply for intellectual property, will also help to, will also fund some of these IP application as well. So you can check out this QR code itself to find out more detail about the grant. And of course, you can email to this link here, to this account to also inquire more. So, yeah.
Thanks, Valerie. So I think that's the last part that we will share on. I'll hand the time back over to Ting Hong to wrap up the session for us.
Thank you very much. Just wondering that there was Lindy who was asking, does not-for-profit companies qualify for such grants as well, Valerie? I'm not sure if it's better for us to take it offline or here.
Yep. I think for the not-for-profit, we'll have to assess that further also. Know what is the intent of it and whether there is a commercial, but it's not-for-profit. We'll probably have to discuss. But if it's a government end user, for sure, we do not fund government itself. But the tech provider can come in as an applicant. Yeah. So I can address that also separately. If you will kindly email me, we can discuss more.
Thank you very much, Valerie. Thank you for sharing about the 5G grant, as well as Janice for sharing more about Pixel Space as well and the possibilities over here. Indeed, there are a lot of initiatives from IMDA, and of course, here we like to invite you to connect and continue to maintain this relationship with us, as well as the community, the ecosystem of problem owners and solvers, as well as the tech community over here. So we would like to really invite you to, also give us some feedback on the session. That's how we improve. We aim to, improve every session, and of course, across broad ranging of topics. You can always let us know how you feel, what you feel should be addressed as well. Maybe you can bring that out as a potential topic. So do spend just 2 minutes of your time, perhaps just scan the QR code that you see on screen to join us on the mailing list, as well as to give us the feedback. So over here will be the feedback. So do scan it and let us know what you think. And of course, on behalf of IMDA, on behalf of everybody, we just like to thank Mr. Jackie Chan, Managing Partner of Data Mesh, for sharing such key insights about the possibilities of building a digital twin, and of course how it can actually help with simulation, visualization to make the workplace safer and more sustainable. I think that's really important. And thank you, Hanto, from My Point Eye, on sharing such amazing 5G-enabled robotics, as well as coupled with AI, how they can actually help you to remove the labor crunch, essentially to solve the labor crunch and potentially to double up on operations as well, right? And the limitless possibilities, really. So do feel free before you sign off to just click the chat and scroll up a little bit more to see their LinkedIn profile and connect with them, and to continue to talk to them on your respective topics. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to answer certain questions, such as like how much will it cost, because implementing it in a single room versus across the entire estate, I can imagine that range is really huge, right? Jackie is nodding his head, Hanto as well. So yeah, to each his own. And of course, most importantly, we would like to see how you can bring this further with Hanto and Jackie, as well as with IMDA. So once again, just to reiterate the point by Valerie and Janice as well, it's not just about startups. It's not just about, big companies. It's all the range of it. IMDA is able to support you across with different initiatives. So if you're unsure, a lot of details are coming at you. Please feel free to contact IMDA to understand which is the best, let's say, initiative or funding or project that you can work with. Like Janice mentioned earlier, they can always help to scope out what you are looking for, what is your objective, and that's the most important, right? So thank you so much for giving us a chance to present to you on the 5G-enabled sustainable and safe built environments. We do hope that it has been a fruitful session for you, and of course, have a great year ahead. On behalf of everybody, we thank you for your time and hope that you can continue to join us for the next session. Thank you. Signing off. See you.